characters themselves here, and then as we move our way forward, this is amid all the action. Excuse me, kind sir. We wanted to introduce you to Anuxie and a lot of fans of hers. Anuxie, hello. Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So tell me all about what you do, because this is another facet of the game that I'm just now learning about. That sounds really interesting.
So we make cosmetic items for the heroes. So almost every hero, I think about 75 of them, you're able to equip clothing and hats and weapons and stuff like that. And we pretty much make that. The community makes that, and Valve gives us that control, which is really cool.
How did you get into this?
Well, there was a competition on a forum that introduced us all to Dota 2 and making items. So I was like, oh, well, I have 2 months off, so I'll just make some stuff. So I made a whole bunch of items, like 5 or 6 sets, and I was just addicted from that point on. And I had no idea about Dota at all. And so I started playing it. I'm like, this game is really good. And I just got into it from there, and it just snowballed. Like, I got one of the top 10 places in the competition, so I was
oh
like,
my gosh, congratulations.
Thanks. Well,
What's your favorite hero when you're playing the game?
Well, I play a number 5 support, but I love Mirana.
Yeah?
She's the best. Like, getting her arrows off and then hitting someone, and you didn't really mean to hit them, you're like...
The one that I was starting to learn more about yesterday was Enigma. Is that the one that creates the black holes?
Yeah, he's great.
So how cool is it to work on the game like this, and then when you're at the International, to be able to see what you have created as a part of these games?
Oh, amazing. It's like the best feeling. I think most of us, like all of us here, we love Dota, and we love professional Dota. And so when we see our set in the games, like, we're like, oh, look, they're using our set, they're using our items, and it's just the biggest buzz.
Of everything that you've created, is there one in particular that you feel closest to or that you're most proud of?
Well, I love Mirana, and I did make a set for her, and I have to say that's probably my favorite. And I love feathers, so it's covered in feathers. So
what has been the reaction from the fans of yours throughout this competition?
Really good, actually, really positive. I wasn't sure, like, the turnout, but it's been really good. Like, we've had, you can see, like, the lines, and they've just been really supportive, and they give us feedback, and they always ask what we're doing and how we're doing things, and they're really interested, which is good. So we're hoping to get more people into doing workshop items so the community can grow and we get more items to wear.
That I was going to ask you, because if people are watching right now and this is something that they're interested in getting into the workshop, how would you recommend that they start doing that? What's the best way that they can do what you do?
Well, it's really hard, but Google is your best friend. So the internet has a lot of tutorials out there. There's Steam guides on the workshop that give you the basics of how to make a weapon. Lenny Agnew, Vlad the Impaler, they're both notable workshop contributors, and they've made tutorials. There's a guy here called Manny, Sith Happens. He has a webpage that's devoted to teaching people how to make workshop items and how to improve their art. There's artist communities out there on the internet like Polycount, CG Talk, 3D Code, 3D Total, CG Hub, and they're all really great. So.
And as we look forward into the tournament itself, are there any particular teams that you're most excited to see this weekend?
Very excited for Fnatic. They're my dream boat team. I hope they win. I was really excited for Mouse as well, and I was kind of sad to see them kicked out. But yeah, I hope Fnatic take the win, take the Aegis. And I have a bet on with Sith, and he's going to get 5% of my next items cut if Fnatic don't take the win, so I'm really rooting for Fnatic.
Well, thank you for chatting with us. We're going to let you get back to work. I know you have a lot of people who are excited to talk to you.
Thank you very much. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too. We'll see you again shortly.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So there we have it, Anuxie, a betting lady, and she's betting on Fnatic, and that's the game coming up now, the best of one between Orange and Fnatic, and we're going to introduce Orange first, and I believe it's Mushi to tell us about how he feels going into the match.
And Mushi with Orange is with us now. And before I ask you about the next game, I saw the 1v1 last night with Ice Ice Ice. Was that fun for you?
Yeah, we are having fun.
You guys were kind of, I'm trying to think of a good way to say this without swearing. You were kind of needling each other. I could see you looking at each other kind of like, I've got this kind of a thing.
Yeah.
You guys are friends?
Yeah, we are very good friends. Yeah.
And what are you thinking going ahead into the next match against Fnatic?
Sorry?
What are you thinking ahead of the next game with Fnatic?
I think we are confident about this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I know you have a lot of fans watching, so we're really excited to see what happens. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Mushi didn't really suck that hard in his last game. It was actually the 1v1 championships where he went 0-1-0 and came second place in the solo, and he's an amazing mid player. But he's also joined by 4 other amazing players: Ohio, KYXY, Net, and Extinct. I think they're the favorites going into this match.
I agree with you. I think Orange is slightly ahead of Fnatic. And that's with all respect in the world for Fnatic. I love that team to death. They have some of the most impressive players in all of Europe. I just think Orange is a bit ahead of the curve in terms of strategy and execution of it. But I think this is going to be a very intense game, just like every other match we've seen so far.
Yeah, it certainly will be. And, well, even though Orange are the favourites, you can never count out Fnatic.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm super interested to what they have to say in their interview. You saw Era trying to sneak in on Mushi's interview earlier. So let's see what he's got to say, and let's see if Fnatic are ready for the game.
And we have Era with Fnatic with us right now. Congratulations on your success so far. And from what I understand, you've really outperformed everyone's expectations. How does that feel?
Feels really good, of course. Dropping the series versus Tongfu wasn't the best, but then we gained the momentum boost from the win in the losers bracket, and now we're hopefully going to win one more game and just get back into it.
And it sounds like you're the youngest player at the International this year. What is it like for you to come into this kind of arena on this grand of a scale and to have that experience?
Not the youngest. KYXY is 2 weeks younger than me.
By 2 weeks? Oh, come on. All right, okay.
Well,
so second youngest.
Well, of course, it's something else. Being the youngest player, I've always been like youngest in every team I've been to. But having mature guys in my team, well, mature and mature, but you know,
It's relative. It's all relative.
They treat me well, so like I can grow in that sense, like in from the team. So it's awesome.
And what are your thoughts ahead of facing Orange?
I think it's gonna be a good game for us. I think we can easily win against them.
All right. Best of luck, second youngest member.
Thank you.
We have to remember, with Fnatic as a team, this is their first TI appearance. They're already a top 8. It's a great performance. And even though they're in the lower bracket, they got knocked down to the lower bracket by Tongfu, who beat them 2-0. And of course, Tongfu could have easily beaten Na'Vi in that last game. It could have gone their way and they could have been in the grand final. So despite being knocked down, going up against Orange, we do say Orange are the favourites, but Fnatic can surprise, I believe, anybody in this tournament. I think they're capable of winning a map against any team, and now it's a best of 1. It's really, really scary.
Well, according to the last match performance, they had a Bloodseeker with no boots, Diffusal, Quelling Blade, and casual Eagle Song.
That's just how they roll.
What do you have to say about that, Jacob?
I mean, I agree with James. This matchup, just like pretty much every other matchup today, has been a 50-50 go, especially in the best of 1s. I expect Liquid and IG be a close match because Liquid can bring out the best in themselves, but also in terms of strategies. And I feel Fnatic can do the same. They have one of the best. I think Era is leading the fantasy board right now, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't think
at least he's leading a Nuxi's fantasy board.
Oh, definitely.
Sorry.
Okay.
Did I? Oh my God, I'm dying.
Don't die.
I've got a
I will
cough
take
and I'm
it
not
over.
meant to cough.
Yeah. I'm fine.
pathetic.
Okay, you're alive. Great.
Yeah.
I think there are 3 keys to Fnatic's game right now. The first of all, I talked about yesterday, Lifestealer. Overall win rate 71%. Era is probably the best Lifestealer in the world, so you have to watch about that hero. Weaver, they've picked it in 13 of the 16 games they've played so far, so it's a hero they really, really value. It's in Trixie. It's not doing particularly well. It's 8-5, but if they feel so comfortable, there's something about it. And then finally, there's Meepo, of course, and No-Tail's micro skills. You never know what will happen. With
Hani did say, though, they won't pick Meepo in the best of 1.
You never know.
Are you going to call him out again?
No, I'm saying I wouldn't entirely give away my strat if I was in the best of 1. He's trying to throw Orange off.
Right.
You guys ready for the game? It's just started. We almost had a bit of a problem.
Been
but,
waiting all
it
day.
looks like we're ready. So
Predictions.
yeah, we've got to do predictions.
Yep.
That's the most fun part.
I'll start with Team Milk.
We're rooting for Fnatic.
We are. Synderen thought that Orange was the top 3 along with Na'Vi and Alliance. I'm going to roll with it. Go with Orange.
Okay. I'm going to join. I'm going to
Come over to the light.
Yeah.
Walk towards the light.
Next
Come,
time,
James.
next game, we do the
You're
same.
a monster, Mal. You're a monster.
I am
I
a
would-
monster.
I would never join you.
Next
Yes.
game we do the same and we make it interesting.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so we're going to get live into the game now. It's Orange versus Fnatic. It's a best of one. The winner will actually be securing a top 6 finish, which is really huge with the amount of talent there has been here. And of course, the loser will finish their tournament 8th and 7th place joint. So best of luck to both teams. Hope you guys enjoy the games. Over to the hall.
Orange versus Fnatic.
Welcome back, everybody, here to the Battle Royale Hall. I am Toby1.
And I'm Wagamama.
And we're back here again, man. We got to relax
are.
for the entire morning, just chilling ourselves out, watching some fantastic Dota.
Some fantastic Dota
Yeah.
as well. That
Key
punch
word,
was...
keyword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Ice
give them
Bomb.
maybe 1 to 5% chance of winning that game. And they won it.
That's a pretty high percentage chance, man.
And that's a high chance.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. You know what? With all the great Dota that's already happened today, we've got 4 big matches as well coming up tonight.
We do.
I want to look straight into it
Let's
right
go
now
into
because
it
I know
now.
there's a couple of people here in the crowd that do believe, but I don't know how hard they can believe when we already have on the Fnatic lineup Chen as well as Darkseer. So it looks like we're going to stay true to the call from Fly that Meepo will not be picked up here as far as this matchup goes, the best of one against Orange.
It goes down to what Orange picks, really. I mean, Meepo will always remain a counter pick. Not gonna say that, you know, he's probably the best against Anti-Mage. He's really, really amazing against Anti-Mage. Same as Furion. So far,
It
it's
just
fully
means
possible.
Era has to multitask.
Yeah, and if Hani says they won't pick in a best of one, I feel this is exactly a type of hero that you should pick in a best of one if you want to have a surprise win, like the Ursa picks we saw yesterday.
Yep.
In the lower bracket is a really good hero as well for that kind of style. So
The only issue is when you start to get kited around, as we saw early today as well, and a hero like Anti-Mage, he loves to escape from that kind of stuff. Let's also look at our bans. I know it was mentioned by the panel boys that Lifestealer, one of Era's, if not like the best Lifestealer player in all of Europe right now.
he is at least one of the guys who likes it the most. I mean, there's also Hvorst, you can't really count him out, but Era, he has a certain love, passion, I don't know what to call it for Lifestealer.
Crush.
Yes, a crush.
A crush we can go with.
Yes, a relationship almost.
Yes.
And of course we saw Wisp being banned out and Batrider and Visage. Now heading into the second stage, Alchemist, he made it through the first picks.
That he did. But again, like we've been seeing like LGDCN now recently departed. Like they were a team that always liked that, and it was a big combo. Like there's Darkseer as well as Alchemist together. You don't want to let it through, but it seems as we go through this tournament, there's been this transition now into like be it Chens or be it these fantastic supporters. They've become more of a higher priority in the later portion of the playoffs.
I agree. I would say that the supporters have even more a clear impact in the game. Sometimes the supporters, what they do, it kind of is something that shines in the background that you can't really point to. But when you have a hero like Chen, it's really easy to say like this guy is controlling the game, like he's steering the game. And we see another push hero being banned out by Orange. Banning out the DK against the Chen lineup is just fully reasonable that you would do.
Yeah.
But I'm still a little bit surprised that this instant Nature's Prophet into Anti-Mage. I mean, we saw Alliance play Nature's Prophet Anti-Mage earlier today, but that was not a first phase Anti-Mage. You pick it later on, I feel. But now Fnatic can really custom design a lineup against this.
Yeah, I know I was having a chat to, actually can't even remember who it was this morning, but when we saw that first pick Spectre, and the conversation instantly turned to, you kind of want to make an impression straight from the very start that you want to play a late game farming and hope that the other team goes along the same lines as you, saying, yeah, we agree to a plus 60-minute game, and you can feel comfortable in your situation there. But you look at Fnatic right now, with VS, with Chen, with Darkseer, they've got great team fight. With the Venture Spirit and the Chen, we've got a good aura stack. I wouldn't even be surprised if Orange go anywhere near a meal here if that middle lane of Beastmaster is high on the list as well to pick up. And we've got other great heroes as well which are available, which all can just like couple up with these auras.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Beastmaster hero that I think about when I think Fnatic, but with the lineup they have now and against Anti-Mage as well as Nature's Prophet, Beastmaster is really incredible. So we might just see them pick it up and let Hani play it on the solo mid. I don't know, I don't think I've seen him play it for a while, but he does play...
It has been a long time.
Yeah.
He's spent most of his time playing DKs in the middle lane, but he doesn't have that option this time around. The other normal couplers that they'll do with this negative armor strat have also been taken out. One of the bigger ones was actually Alchemists,
exactly. So they can't really go for that, but there's always the Shadow Fiend.
That's
Just gotta
true.
say it. Like Shadow Fiend, he is not amazing against Anti-Mage, but he is good. And when you have a Crystal Maiden in the enemy team, if you have a BKB, you can also get rid of her stun. So it's very easy to get out of a Frostbite just clicking it.
Seconds remaining.
And I'm not gonna say that Fnatic won't go down that line.
5
Era
seconds
plays
remaining.
Lifesteal every now, Shadow Fiend every now and then as well.
Well, they got their fourth and final
Reserve
pick in this
time.
stage. The last man out was, of course, the OD. So they look towards that middle lane. Of course, one of the heroes, which was one of the two heroes, which we always called during the preliminaries and the start of the playoffs. Like Razor and OD were always those guys that flagged on our warning list. But again, with the transition to the tournament, with the way it's been flowing, bumps down the priority list.
Less focus on him, yeah, and I'm really happy about that. To be honest, I don't want to hate on OD, but I kind of do.
You could hate.
It's not interesting to watch the mid lane where there's an OD in the game, so at least we're gonna see. And both teams still have to pick up their mid solo.
Yep. Waiting to the very, very last to actually do that kind of thing, so we'll get to see who our mid-battle is going to be. Of course, as far as those heroes go, Queen of Pain's already been banned down here, so we've got the Pucks available, we've got the TAs available, we've got anything available for the middle lane.
There's a lot of stuff. TA is also something that you can combine up with Vengeful Spirit stun being so amazing. It gives you less of an AoE and less of catch out though, so you can't really kill off the Furion when he has his Shadow Blade as easily, or the Anti-Mage, because you have no disable on it.
I'm wondering right now if they're tossing up the...
And there it is.
Oh, there's Yarosaf.
The Shadow Fiend.
We're looking at our Aura strat right now, and Orange should be very, very careful about this. If this is going to be what we assume it to be, which is Trixie on the long lane, and this is going to be him basically going, please hope I don't die, and maybe get a little bit of farm. If he is going to be put in that position, then he'll just abandon, go a little bit jungle, and Chen can rotate around. But when you got Chen, VS, early smoke, early rotation around, they have to help that SF if he's playing in mid, and I say the if on that one as well, because he could also be a safe lane solo. SF is a very vulnerable hero in the early stages of the game.
He is for sure. And looking over to Mushi now, I'm thinking, what do Orange want for a second support? I mean, the Shadow Fiend is pretty obvious that Fnatic wanted, but what do Orange really want to combine now? They need to have some reliable disable, I feel, against Shadow Fiends to just have something to lock him down. And of course,
it almost feels like you need a Bane in this scenario.
Yeah, Bane would be beautiful because then you have a lockdown even through the BKB. So I would probably agree with that pickup. They're gonna go Undying. Ooh, oh, that's a big surprise.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but first time on the main stage.
First time I've seen it.
Yeah.
First time we saw it in the.
We'll get to go to K-Poptosis about that one a little bit later. He'll give us our
sexy Undying stats.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. He is an amazing hero, though. Maybe not so sexy, considering he is actually dead.
He's pretty slender.
And rather toothy. He's more like a rake.
We should see a ban out now on the Beastmaster, I really feel, from Mushi.
Yeah.
And Gyrocopter was the ban out from Fly, so doesn't want to have any solo mid gyro to go up.
This is actually a really, the possibility for aggression here. I know we watch a lot of Undying in the European scene, and we can basically thank GoldBlack a lot for that, as well as a couple of other teams. But as an aggressive hero, he destroys. And you want to combine up Crystal Maiden and Undying together, I'm not feeling the aggressive tri-lane unless Anti-Mage goes solo.
Yes, but he can. Anti-Mage can definitely go solo safe lane against the Darkseer. If you pull him regen, he can lane up there. And we've seen that done by so many carry players where they do perfectly fine. So an aggressive tri-lane with a Crystal Maiden and Undying +1.
They take out the Druid instead.
The lone Druid. So scared of that addition to the push, but I feel that with auras you could even have better addition to the push.
This push comes differently, and that's why I'm surprised as you with this last pick. Like, if you say, okay, I'm feeling the push, lone Druid logically will come up in your mind, but the strength of this lineup, it doesn't come through the normal tower pushes. It comes by the strength of when you're actually together fighting as a team. That's the scary thing. That's a really scary thing. Anti-Mage can be walking around with hearts and butterflies and all this kind of shizzle, but it won't be enough to survive when you get Fnatic fully grouped up here. Undying might have a better chance because he'd be stealing all their strength during the fight. The Crystal Maiden, she's a fragile woman. Nature's Prophet, he can snap like a twig. And now we get Morphling. So Era does get his hero, and that does mean that we'll see SF in that solo mid.
Yeah, we should see SF mid, unless it's a mid hero that Mushi picks up now that's weak for Morphling, but SF doesn't want. Because you can kind of switch it around. Shadow Fiend is amazing as a hard carry as well, and Morphling can be done mid. Fnatic did it a lot when they came into the Dota scene, but that's a long long days ago.
Yeah, that was back when we had like Wraith Band, you pull a couple consumables, and well, maybe it will be a Templar Assassin.
TA.
Yeah,
Amazing.
she's in the crowd, but maybe not in the draft.
I don't think Mushi will go for a TA in this game. It feels weird. They need more disable. They only have the Frostbite right now to disable. And against the Morphling, against the Shadow Fiend, that is so risky. So they have to go aggressive Trilane.
Morphling, the guy known as the guy with 4 escape mechanisms. Strength Morph, Waveform, technically you got to leave it on a stun with Adaptive Strike, you jump out to the Replicant, and then you get everything else. It's so difficult to kill off this hero. It's almost like the opposite poles. You got like the okay.
There's some good disable.
It's a good disable. It's a good disable. I'm wondering where the follow-up really comes though. Where is the AoE? Like, if this is Fluff and stuff playing Crystal Maiden, then I'll say instantly, yeah, I know what we're doing right here.
Yeah.
But with the Prophet Ultimate, with the Anti-Mage, it's very difficult to get that Mana Void absolutely perfect. Find that one hero on the low mana when they're all stacked together in the middle of an RP. That's a big ball of death.
At least they have a decent amount of things that can cancel out Shadow Fiend's ultimate now. They also have Empower, which is amazing for a late game for Anti-Mage. But I would still give the late game towards Fnatic. They have the possibility of having Damage Wolf. They have a Vengeful, who's amazing. And they have Shadow Fiend along with Morphling. So I feel Orange, if they go safe lane and just lane this one out, they're also going to fall behind really fast.
I agree. They've really got to stick it to Fnatic. They've really got to stick it to them. But it's a tough ask, man. It's a really tough ask. But we're going to see if the ask is possible, and so we get ourselves into the game, and we'll see who's going to be going where and who's going to be playing who. So we start off, and over on the Dire side, it will be Orange, and we'll have Mushi taking up the roles at Anti-Mage, puts Extinct onto the Crystal Maiden. KYXY will be the Magnus. Following up behind him is Ohio as the Nature's Prophet, and that leaves our final one, Net, supporting as the Undying. And for Fnatic, N0tail, the man which everybody loves to watch play Meepo. You might believe in him if he gets through into game number 3, into the best of 3 in the next round, but they have to get past Orange to do such a thing. He'll be the Chen in this game. Trixie will be the Darkseer. Looks like he's already built to go into the jungle, as well as take harassment on the top lane. Hani is the SF. He has been pulled extra consumables to start with that Wraith Band. That leaves Era on that bottom lane as the Morphling, already been scattered out by the trees. And then our last one, but not least, Fly as a scantily clad Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, looking over to Orange now, of course, they're moving out in the jungle here. Fnatic Era is standing here and just watching them. He cannot die. He can wait for him away or whatever. But looking over to what they are doing, they have a Anti-Mage with Quelling Blade and Stout Shield, and they still go aggressive Trilane with this.
This is going to be a real rough lane. You're trying to run 2 melee heroes on an aggressive Trilane.
The thing is that it will be easy at first, but then there's Chen.
Yep.
Like if N0tail plays this correctly, he can come in and have a huge impact on his lane. So, and they don't. Do they even place down a Sentry Ward to watch for Chen ganks?
At this point, the Sentry Ward's down for Fnatic. They're trying to control up their camps, but they won't have that pool spot just yet. The Dire Ward is blocking it.
No luck with that D-Ward. So we're gonna see a safe lane Furion against the Darkseer. That's gonna be a pretty good lane for Furion, to be honest. But for the mid Shadow Fiend against a melee hero with pooled regen on the Shadow Fiend, that's a decent lane unless he gets ganked.
Yeah, that it will be. Let's watch his last hits. I also want to keep my eyes, and there's actually Net dropping down extra Sentry Ward. He blocks up the hard camp, and that's exactly where N0tail was going to get himself a really good creep. The secondary ward blocking the second hard camp as well. So they got options for the easy camp, or actually, they didn't have options for any of the camps. Every single camp, bar the easy camp, has spawned. So if they want a Vol, they can do such a thing. But that is the only options that's available to this Chen right now.
They're quite useless.
He may as well go Dire Jungle. In fact, that looks exactly where N0tail is headed.
I like how Net just stays here on top of everything, just controlling the enemy jungle, and he's even gonna check if the Chen took a creep, and he's gonna block it again.
Yeah.
Wow, he's just being such a nuisance.
This is serious commitment, but it does also force Orange to waste their second Sentry Ward down here, and that's not a bad thing to have happen, because now N0tail, he knows he's free to do whatever he wants in this top lane. The fact that he's up here, this is going to make Ohio a little bit more careful as well. The call's going to come from Net saying they're not trying to contest me in the jungle, which means N0tail, he's got to be inside our jungle. Keep your eyes out for this one, especially when Ohio does things like this, when he starts pulling in the creep waves, come underneath his tower, because that's when Trixie can then do his little stuff when you got the higher levels up in the Iron Shell.
Yeah, it's still huge by Orange because they force out both the Chen and the Vengeful into an aggressive state. But of course that's not always a bad thing. Chen is amazing for roaming and Vengeful as well. So they will try and do so, but I feel that their ganks are not that strong, and Vengeful can't you know, she can't fall back to pooling and creep camp and getting experience. And they are losing bottom really hard. There's one CS.
Oh, donkeys. They don't have enough damage. It's going too fast with the movement speed.
And that also revealed their malicious intent towards the mid lane.
Why can't they just live
Look
as
how
friends?
Ohio is scouting as well with his treants. He's just keeping good check here.
Well, he knows they're rotating. He knows the Chen is there. Right now, it's just been a gank and net. Well, is this just harassment on Eero? There's no way he could really get a kill while he steals the strength. Morphling already up in that second point. If he wants to, he can just strength morph himself up anyway. So, difficult to kill this bottom lane, but they have got very little to no farm on him. One last hit in total.
Top is going to be hard now. He has a TP scroll or TP available with his teleportation. He's going to body block as he runs away.
It's nicely moved.
See how nice he can do it. It's really good so far.
He's got the TP, but Fly gonna have to stun him up, and there goes the first stun. Hellbear with a stun as well. No-Tell, he's got a nuke up his sleeve, throws it. Trixie's not there in time. Out to safety, Ohio is out and home.
Yeah, and that was only all his body blocking that saved him there, because Vengeful, sure, she got the stun off, but it was too late.
Yep. Trixie really needed to be in closer just then. But even then, he didn't have himself a vac. He just needed to have the Iron Shell damage there as an option.
Yeah, so nice play by Ohio, really getting out there. But this top lane, the tower will most likely fall. Very often we see when Darkseid goes hijacking the creeps, the tower just falls so fast. And now with a Chen up here as well, it should really go down in the next couple of minutes or minute or two.
Yeah, just a very easy creep skip and Soul Ring as well too. So there's going to be never-ending Iron Shells on this top lane.
How is mid doing actually? We see a really, really high CS on the Shadow Fiend. 22 for 6 against 20 for 1.
Hasn't been controlled at all by the Magnus, but that's also to be expected. Like, Magnus isn't a mid controller.
Yeah,
Magnus is I'll find my farm, hope I get to Arcane Boots, Blink Dagger, and then we start killing.
Even so, we're talking about him out farming Mushi, who has a completely uncontested lane on bottom. There's a Morphling watching him farm. So that's amazingly done so far by Honey.
We'll get our first rotation of support heroes. Trixie, oh, he's in a really bad position there. Try to body block him in. Trixie able to slither his way past the treants.
Yeah,
Ohio wants to keep chasing him though, but this creep wave's already been pulled down.
Top
It'll
tower,
stay with him.
is it gonna be denied? Let's look at Net.
Catapult, is it gonna be good? Net's got it.
He gets helped by Ohio. Nice deny.
Being well on bottom lane. Yep, that's a big dive by Mushi, but Fly couldn't TP in time to get the stun out.
Yeah, just some aggressive play there. Forces down the Vengeful again.
Really across all lanes. The second you kind of thought like that TP came top lane, then you think Eero will get a little bit more space, but Orange, they still decide to dive with 2 players. It's like they're not even phased by it. They know they can still probably, like if they force the waveform out of the Morphling, then they could just slowly hold him there. He's not going to do any damage back if he's strength morphing, and then they'll find themselves some kills. And Fnatic, they're kind of happy with just living with this Morphling because they know the impact this SF's going to have. He's already up at level 6, doesn't need the ultimate, and right now it's Souls, the 4 levels up, and the Shadow Razors is the primary thing he's also searching for, and that's when you're going to see that big burst damage coming the way of a hero like KYXY. He gets hit by 2 of those Razors and a couple of hits from Shadow Fiend, and he'll basically be dead if he overcommits himself.
Shadow Fiend really, really hurts, and his right click goes through the roof in just about, 12 minutes from now. It's gonna hit like a truck. But I feel that it was really sad they couldn't commit more to the top tower and get the last hit on it. A deny is really, really big pre-5 minutes. It's so much gold.
KYXY just showing off there in a little bit in the middle lane, just saying now I'm level 6, I have RP. Just keep this in mind, SF, because he will die very quickly if there's even one person that can follow up and help KYXY after he lands that RP. But he needs that one person. Right now, I'm not seeing vision on the map for Fnatic. I see that Observer Ward just coming down by Chen across the middle lane, but the Observer Wards of Orange are about to time out, so Chen can re-enter his base. We hit that 6-minute mark, and that is, of course, when all the wars start to time.
Yeah, that's true. And for now, both teams playing pretty passive, I would say. We see some movement around by No-Tail, and Vengeful just staying down here trying to protect Era so that he doesn't get caught out.
Radiant's middle tower is under
game has slowed down a little bit after that rotation towards the top.
Trixie's on his way towards that Meg. He's having a really fun time. No-Tail. He did snipe that Invis rune as well from the top lane, so that's where the 6-minute rune ended up going.
Stun on bottom. Not really. They don't have any way of killing the anti-mage.
No. They need more lockdown, or it just turns into chase.
This is crazy CS on the Shadow Fiend. They stacked, I believe he even stacked for himself the small camp. Or if it was stacked for him, I'm not sure. But the amount of farm that he's finding is really amazing.
Yeah. Either way you look at it, when you hit that level 8 on an SF and you're only 6 minutes into a game, you feel very secure in life, the universe and everything.
Yeah, now stacking the big camp, and with level 8 you can clear the stacks so easily. Just 2 raises and some right clicks and you kill big camp.
Yep, we saw him do an easy one, and all he did was, it was even saving the mana. Throw 1 raise and then just right click them down, because he can do that with the easy camps.
Exactly.
And N0tail just subbing in a new Wild Wind. So there's a lot of movement coming out here from Orange. The two